The number you have dialed has been changed.
So as a lot of y'all know, one of Diddy's lawyers quit, but what you might not know is the reason as to why. Now, as some of y'all might already know, Anthony Rico, who is one of Diddy's attorneys, filed a motion on the 21st saying that he wanted to be removed from the case, but did not specify a reason why. Now, TMZ spoke to somebody apparently close to the source, and we now know the alleged reason as to why he decided to quit, and it wasn't over any type of moral compass or anything like that. Now, according to the source, he quit for a couple reasons. The first one being that he didn't agree with the way that the legal team was approaching these SA allegations. The other reason was that he didn't think that they should be going to trial in May and wanted to push that, and the rest of the legal team did not agree. So with all that being said, it wasn't some kind of epiphany saying, I can't defend some guy with this many SA allegations against them. It was really about logistics. Now, as of right now, everything is pressing forward for a trial to begin in May. And as I'm sure you all are well aware, we will be covering this and every bit of it as we lead up to that trial very, very closely right here. So, of course, make sure to hit that follow button if you don't follow already. And drop your thoughts about this attorney quitting in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. So as a lot of y'all know, one of Diddy's lawyers quit, but what you might not know is the reason as to why. Now, as some of y'all might already know, Anthony Rico, who is one of Diddy's attorneys, filed a motion on the 21st saying that he wanted to be removed from the case, but did not specify a reason why. Now, TMZ spoke to somebody apparently close to the source, and we now know the alleged reason as to why he decided to quit, and it wasn't over any type of moral compass or anything like that. Now, according to the source, he quit for a couple reasons. The first one being that he didn't agree with the way that the legal team was approaching these SA allegations. The other reason was that he didn't think that they should be going to trial in May and wanted to push that, and the rest of the legal team did not agree. So with all that being said, it wasn't some kind of epiphany saying, I can't defend some guy with this many SA allegations against them. It was really about logistics. Now, as of right now, everything is pressing forward for a trial to begin in May. And as I'm sure you all are well aware, we will be covering this and every bit of it as we lead up to that trial very, very closely right here. So, of course, make sure to hit that follow button if you don't follow already. And drop your thoughts about this attorney quitting in the comments. Let us know what you guys think.
Diddy's attorney quits, walking off the job, saying that under no circumstances can he defend someone like Diddy Boo-Hoo. Let's talk about it. Now, just yesterday, the man you see here, Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's many defense attorneys, turned in a motion to withdraw, seeking to step down and remove himself as active counsel from Diddy Boo-Hoo. In a federal affidavit filed with the court, this attorney stated, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Diddy. It is respectfully but regrettably requested that the court grant the relief requested. Now, this attorney is planning to step aside, leaving 5 other defense attorneys by Diddy Boo-Hoo's side. Now, while this attorney did not go into depth as to why he wanted to step away, we can all imagine several reasons. So with this, now Diddy's own attorneys are trying to separate themselves from him amid all of these allegations that have come to light. Let me know what you think in the comments.
An attorney walking away. Sometimes it's because they don't get the lead chair or one of the lead chairs. Sometimes it's because a client is lying. Sometimes it's because they believe wholeheartedly that the client is going to be guilty and they don't want to be associated with that guilt because that's a loss on their record. It could be a variety of things. But the fact that we are speculating about that when the trial date hasn't even started yet concerns me, because I'm one of those people, ladies and gentlemen, who firmly believes it's virtually impossible to find a jury that's not contaminated by some kind of information that's been put out to the public before a trial begins. I'm not one of those that believes that. May 5th is May 5th. I mean, come on now. That's more than 2 months away. Jury ain't been selected yet. You trying to tell me nobody that's on the jury will have heard that a lawyer backed out of the case? I don't know about y'all, but I find that that's not a good thing for Sean Diddy Combs, for something like that to happen.
Do you understand how bad of a person you have to be for your lawyer who's been going to school for this all of his life, practices for this moment to where he can get these high-profile cases, gets paid millions of dollars to tell you under no circumstances can I continue because these charges are too crazy? He prepared this his whole life and he still couldn't continue. Nigga, you fucked up so bad, this lawyer think he finna be guilty by association. Y'all gotta understand, under no circumstances, that means no bread, no loyalty, no nothing. It does not matter what he gives him, he's not being a lawyer for him. Lawyer was so scared, he said even God wouldn't defend him. How was you traumatizing a high-profile case lawyer? And I don't even want to tell you what they seen, but they seen some shit. And trust me, lawyers defend the most craziest stuff, like stuff you couldn't even imagine. But Diddy, you are doing worse than people that have done war crimes. Like, this lawyer has defended every and anybody you can think of. And Diddy is where he crossed the line. Diddy, you gotta be the devil.
I come from a voodoo background.
Okay. Diddy has this tattoo on his back.
On his back.
Really? Diddy has this little tattoo.
Let me see. This really his back?
Yeah.
His back.
He ain't tatted up like that.
Yes, he is.
So you think Diddy do voodoo?
Absolutely. Ezuli Nato, which is the mother, the brave one, the fighter. And then we have Ezuli Frida, which represents love, material.
So do you think Diddy gonna go to jail?
At the end of the day, karma exists and you're gonna get yours. In every discipline, I call voodoo a discipline. In every discipline, there is good and bad, yin, yang.
A lot of people use voodoo to hurt someone that hurt them.
They call them loi, the spirits.
So the dolls that they, the little dolls that they stick.
Voodoo dolls.
Yeah,
And
voodoo dolls.
Let
yeah.
me tell you.
Is that real? Like, is that a real thing?
Absolutely.
Because we see it on the movies,
But not as dramatic as the movies.
And we use things to have our men come home
lure.
at the end of the
We
day.
do voodoo.
There's a lot of things, like my grandmother taught me, like with your period, you can control a man's mind, because
I heard about that.
Yes, that is the strongest juice in your body spiritually, because when a woman, she connects to the moon, because it's a cycle. You understand? So there's a lot of tips and tricks you could use with your own. You can use with your shoes. Like I always tell that, like if I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I would never buy her shoes.
Why?
Because she will work out in my life.
Wow.
There's a rumor going around that Diddy has been charged with necromancy. And like I said, it's just a rumor, so technically I can't say if it's true or not, but if you know what they do in Hollywood, you would be able to come to a reasonable conclusion. If you don't know what necromancy is, basically it has to do with witchcraft involving those who have passed on to the next life, those who are in graveyards, things like that. I've heard some wild stories about those who practice necromancy, and one of those stories even comes from someone in my family. And so this stuff is very real. I know a lot of you guys won't believe it, but if you are tuned into the spiritual realm, if you read your Bible and you're familiar with scripture, you know this stuff definitely exists. So whether this allegation is true or not, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Sean Combs here was involved in necromancy, because I know for them to be in Hollywood, to be involved in a lot more sinister practices. If you haven't caught on by now, the things that they get into over in that echelon of the world, I mean, you're innocent. You have an innocent mind, thank God, in a sense. But at the same time, you're a little bit ignorant. And maybe you should do some research. Maybe you should really open your eyes and look into it, because we live in an evil world, and it's a world of angels and demons, a world of those who fight for the light and those who fight for darkness.
And just like that, y'all, it's not looking too good for Diddy. His lawyer just straight up quit on him. This man lawyer just said, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Diddy Combs. Like, what? Do y'all know what this mean? Do y'all really know what this mean? He just made it worse for Diddy. He made him seem like he was hella guilty. Your man's just abruptly quit on Diddy at the wrong time. I'm telling y'all, it got something to do with Cash Patel. It really do. He seen that man become FBI director, and he said, yeah, I'm not messing with that man. So he called up Diddy on the phone and was like, yo, what's up? Diddy was like, what's the word, my boy? He said, yeah, I'm sorry to do you like this. He said, do me like what? He said, yeah, I gotta quit. He said, quit? He said, yeah, man. He said, you know how it is, right? He said, no, I don't. I'm in jail. His lawyer was like, man, Cash Patel in town now. You know what that mean, right? Then he was like, Cash Patel? He said, Cash Patel. He said, fuck! His lawyer hung up the phone. All jokes aside, though, that's messed up, though. He quit on this man, y'all. Y'all know what I'm starting to think? Since all these documents is about to be open, Is there a chance he go back into this Biggie shit? Y'all remember the rabbit hole goes deeper. We probably about to see a big ass plot twist. Breaking news, they found out the real reason Biggie was...
Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel. That's what one of Diddy's lawyers wrote in a motion to the court because that lawyer is trying to quit the case. A couple quick points. One does not simply quit representing a client in a criminal case. When you sign up that client and you go to court and you tell the court you represent them, you cannot leave that case. You cannot quit that case unless a judge gives you permission to leave the case. So you have to request for the judge to review your motion and the judge can say yes or no. Why is that? Well, because the client might be disadvantaged. If you've been working on this case for months, years even, and the case is going to trial tomorrow and you decide, actually, I don't want to represent you anymore. I'm going to file a motion to withdraw from the case and good luck and good night. That's not going to go over so well in court and a judge is probably going to deny your motion. Now, in this case, the lawyer for Diddy is one of many lawyers. Diddy has at least 4 other attorneys, including the husband of the attorney who is representing Luigi Mangione. So the lawyer wrote in his motion in this case that the client will not be prejudiced if he's no longer on the case because even though trial is probably coming up sometime soon, he does have other attorneys who can represent him in the case and other attorneys who have been representing him in the case. Now, people want to speculate as to the reasons that the attorney might have withdrawn from the case. And look, I don't know, right? We can't say, but what I will say is when an attorney is telling you, hey, I don't think I can represent you adequately or effectively anymore, you probably want to take that pretty seriously and you probably want to let that attorney go, especially in a case like this one where we are so far removed or we're decently removed from the trial and there are other attorneys on the case because for one reason or another, that attorney is telling you, I don't think I can do this in the way that's going to represent you properly before the court. Maybe the attorney had a conflict of interest that arose at some point. Maybe the attorney's beliefs changed about the case. Maybe the attorney thinks that you're trying to ask them to do something that is illegal and you're going to put their license on the line and they're not willing to do that. People are asking, well, does the attorney now think that his client is guilty? Does the attorney feel that he has a moral reason to stop representing Diddy? And if those things are true, then sure, of course, the attorney absolutely can and should withdraw from the case when you start feeling like, I cannot represent you because I'm looking at you, I think you're guilty, and I have a moral objection to these allegations. To me, this is interesting because there's no crime you can commit for which you will not find a criminal defense attorney to represent you. It does not matter. If the crime is on the books and you are going to court, you can pay an attorney enough money or very little money or no money at all if you can't afford one and you need a public defender assigned to you. An attorney will represent you. It doesn't really matter what the allegations and what the charges are. So in a case like this one, it's certainly interesting, and I am leaning towards probably there was some sort of conflict of interest or something happened where that attorney no longer feels comfortable representing Diddy. I do expect the judge to probably grant this motion, and I think the attorney did the right thing. I don't know what their reasons are, but if there is a conflict of interest or the attorney feels like they can't effectively represent the client, I think the right thing to do is go ahead and withdraw from the case so that your client is not disadvantaged. So this is the right move here, and probably that motion will be granted.
The number you have dialed has been changed.